officially running the New York City Marathon. What? I want to say, but I actually cannot say that. Still like emotionally charged from it. I just want answers to. Hello you guys, it is February 6th, 6:30 a.m. This is the morning of my surgery. As you can see, we already have the surgical band. Also have my little lanyard. Surgery's in an hour. We are getting our knee surgery. If you follow the saga on my podcast, you already know when I got hurt, how I got hurt, the extent of it, but we have more to talk about post-surgery, of course, but I'm just getting a video of my thoughts and feelings pre-surgery. I'm so tired. I'm so dehydrated because you can't eat or drink before surgery. Struggling a little bit, but I just took a urine sample. These are just the things that need to be done before surgery. Everything's gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay. I am a fighter. I'm a warrior. I'm gonna get through this with flying colors. So this is gonna take you guys through pretty much a month of my recovery. You guys are gonna see this in March, by the way. Here's the beginning of the journey. So they just came in and took my vitals. Also asked me a ton of questions about date of birth and if I ate in the last 5 hours, 6 hours. There's a cutoff time for eating before surgery, which is midnight. I'm so dehydrated because I haven't drank any water in a while. Also, they just put a compression sock on my non-operative leg to prevent blood clots. I still have 40 minutes before surgery, so I'm just gonna hang out. The doctor's gonna come in. I'm gonna chat with him, chat with the anesthesiologist, because they have to put me to sleep for a little bit. It's interesting how we grow up, and with growing up gives us more fear. I don't remember being even scared when I was a kid, but I'm just a little, you know, I just have some feelings. Okay, let's go. It's go time. We did it. And then she was like, we did it. Did it. I can't grab my mic because I simply cannot be bothered. That's just too much work at this point, so we're gonna throw it back to old school audio here. I'm post-op. I did it. I got through my surgery. A lot of emotions were swirling around before surgery. Was actually panicking when they took me into the room, and it was mostly just because I was just so overwhelmed with emotion. I wasn't really nervous about anything else. It was just the emotion. It all kind of hitting me at once. I started crying. I started crying, and the nurses were so sweet. 2 of the nurses literally asked me what songs I want to listen to. They calmed me down, and also, if you don't know, when you do surgery, you, for the most part, are getting put under anesthesia. So they put on anesthesia, and all I remember was crying. I don't even remember the doctor walking to the room. I don't remember saying hi. I don't remember anything after crying because they started the anesthesia and I was truly out so quickly. And this is what happened the very first time I had surgery when I was 16. I remember they did a countdown. They were like 3, 2, and literally before I heard the number 1, I was asleep and I just woke up an hour and a half later. So, oh, 1 second. Is this the right way? We got through it. We got through surgery. I feel okay. I definitely feel a little out of it. The anesthesia, it took about 2 hours to wear off, and the next nurse that was with me was upon waking up, and he was so sweet. He just made sure that I was comfortable. I woke up to snacks at my bedside. I had a warm blanket on me. I was very comfortable, but he was telling me that the first thing I said when I woke up was, "I'm starving," but I don't remember saying that because the anesthesia was still very much kicked in, and the surgeon even said, "You're gonna forget talking to me, you're gonna forget talking to everybody who you talk to within those first 30 minutes to an hour." So the doctor and I had a conversation. I have no idea what was said, and that's okay, but once the anesthesia fully wore off and I came back into reality, that really sweet nurse was there, and he was like, "Yeah, this is some of the things that you said while you were not fully present, but we made sure to get you lots of snacks, apple juice. They got me tea." I felt very taken care of. So I got my surgery done at Northwell. I love Northwell. This is my first time using them, but hopefully we don't have to do another surgery, but I really enjoyed their care. I felt very safe and very comfortable there, and that speaks volumes, truly. I'm definitely gonna do a whole Q&A section of this vlog, maybe in a week from now. Like I said at the beginning, this vlog is going to be a span of a few weeks. I really want to have a very candid take on my recovery, my initial recovery, my first PT visit, as well as answering a lot of questions that I know I'm probably gonna get asked, so we're just gonna get ahead of it. So my sweet friend Onyx picked me up from the hospital, took me in an Uber. She helped me with my crutches, helped me into my apartment, set me up, put my candles on, set my bed up, set my ice machine up. She literally did everything, and I'm so thankful for sweet friends. I'm very thankful for my sweet friends who care about me and make sure that I'm okay. I've already gotten a few text messages from my friends who knew that I have surgery and just checking in on me. Also, one of my friends baked me banana bread and gave it to me yesterday, and I've already eaten one. I'm gonna eat more, but it's chocolate chip banana bread, which is literally my favorite type of banana bread. Like, I'm so thankful I could cry. Not trying to cry again, but it has been an emotional time, just not knowing what exactly was wrong, but knowing that something was wrong, and I needed to, of course, get surgery to be able to return back to being an active person. They cannot be together.
You're probably right.
Well, I enjoyed working with you.
Elevator, and I went up to the next floor to get in my truck.
What's going on? Why are you here?
I had to get my statement.
Okay, beautiful. Amazing. Wind chill is like the worst wind. I don't know, something crazy like that. It's the day after surgery. I'm feeling better. I just took some meds to manage the pain. Yesterday was definitely a very high pain level day because I literally had surgery yesterday. But my friend Anissa came by again. What an angel. She refilled my ice machine. She also got me some arts and crafts to do while I'm here recovering. We're in good spirits. I also just talked to one of my doctors. He's the physician assistant who was in the room when I did surgery, and he's the one who gives a follow-up call to all the patients post-surgery. So I had about an hour call with him. I had so many questions, and he went over every single thing that we did in surgery. So right now it is really just for me to rest and keep on icing and healing. As you can see, my crutches over there. Then I have my follow-up appointment next week. I got to talk to a lot of my friends yesterday over FaceTime and call. I called my sisters. I feel taken care of and I feel equipped to get through this, and that is the point. Something I've been really thinking about, this is what's happening in my life right now. This is my reality. So this is what I'm gonna share. And the real ones appreciate that. And I'm happy you're here. Oh, I almost ate all the banana bread yesterday. She gave me a full loaf of banana bread. I pretty much ate the entire thing. There's still 3 more loaves, which I will be eating today. So this is what Anaisa dropped off along with the ice. This is so cute. It really hurts. Oh, ow. I still have this on. I think I probably already said this at some point, but I'm reading Iron Flame, which is the second book in the Fourth Wing series. This is such a big book. It's gonna take me a bit, but I'm also listening to the audiobook. I already want something to snack on. Okay, perfect. Happy day 3. Technically, wait, today's Sunday. 2 days after surgery. My friend just came over to refill my ice machine. She got me some snacks, which was so sweet. And she just hung out for like 2 hours. We just chatted and caught up, which was really nice. But pain level, honestly, this is the worst of the pain so far. I feel like the really intense drugs wore off. And also, I think the first 24 hours of any surgery, your body's pain receptors are just not really working. I don't know, but now I feel it full blast and my leg is in so much pain. Like, I'm actually in so much pain right now. But here's the thing, I'm not gonna be taking my really strong medicine today. So I'm really just gonna have to ride it out. Today's the Super Bowl. Happy Super Bowl. And I'm going to be going out with my friends. Don't worry, before anyone has anything to say about that. My doctor called me yesterday. He said that I can go. I'm fine, no problem. Today is the day that we take off the dressing. He said this comes off 48 hours after, and we have surpassed the 48-hour mark. Oh no. Ooh. Okay, that was to compress my leg. All right, now we're taking this off. I don't even know how they put it on. Okay, and there it is. There's my knee. Oh, wait. I'm supposed to be taking a shower, so I need to wrap my leg with saran wrap. I'm gonna put a Band-Aid on. My knee, yeah, there she is. Oh, it's definitely so swollen. It's so swollen right here. Ooh. We took our first shower post surgery. It was a little tough, but we did it. And I will be in my robe for the next few hours. My plan is to do 4 rounds of ice before I leave. I also really need to take this off. This is the reality, y'all. This is the reality of someone who just got surgery. I know I'm gonna look back on these videos, these days, and I feel like I'm gonna want to remember how I felt. Hopefully this helps someone else who maybe is going through this exact same surgery, going through this exact same healing process. Anywho, all right, it's time to ice. Oh my God. I'm struggling. It's gonna get easier, they say.
It's great reviews out of Buffalo and Albany, and it's a beautiful sign right here.
Okay, we did it. We got dressed, makeup, outfit. We put ourselves together. Don't worry, I'm bringing my big ass jacket, my gloves, my scarf, my earmuffs. I have it all, okay? But my friends are downstairs. We're gonna Uber over to the bar. And I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, this is the outfit. This is the knee. fresh out of surgery, but we are safely getting out there and I'm looking forward to seeing my friends and just honestly being out of this room. I've been in this room for 3 full days now and I have to go. I really do. Go Seahawks! Of course. I used to live in San Francisco. Well, yes, I used to live in San Francisco. Actually, the Super Bowl's in San Francisco, which is fun. The Seahawks are playing the Patriots. The Seahawks are going to win. I'm going to say that right now. Okay? Let's go celebrate the Super Bowl.
One of the most famous names in American ski. 2-6.
Yep.
At the left lane blocked. Expect some very heavy delays back from the Lincoln and the Holland checking.
This morning I had PT and my surgeon said he wants me in PT literally the first Monday after surgery. So we went this morning and it was tough. It was humbling. It was frustrating. Just mentally remembering that I was able to do so much right before surgery and now I cannot even bend my leg. And that really messed with my brain. I just started crying in the middle of PT, just started bawling. And my physical therapist, he's great. He definitely helped to manage my emotions. He gave me some space. He let me kind of be for a sec, but he also challenged me, which is his job. That is literally his job, to push me a little bit and challenge me, especially in these early stages of recovery. But it was really, really tough. I'm not gonna sit here and act like it wasn't. It was really, really hard and it was really emotional. But the good news is that I can't re-tear the things that I tore because the surgery essentially removed what was wrong, like fully took it out of my body. So that's good. So when he said that, it kind of changed my perception of everything. Because I think my fear is if I push too hard, I'm going to hurt myself again. But that's not the case here. I am all back together in terms of the parts I need to be normal. Now we just have to get my range of motion back. That's the most important thing. And my strength in my leg back. But of course, I had to take an Uber there and back because I'm not in the state of walking without crutches yet, and also it is still so cold in New York, and actually most importantly there's ice all over the ground, so that's just a hazard and I'm not messing with that. So we're gonna just probably take Ubers for this week. Is it tough to just lay here and ice and not be very mobile? That's really hard for me. Okay, all right. Back again, same spot, almost 24 hours later, I would say, or even longer than that. It's nighttime, 4 days post-surgery. I definitely felt a lot better today, which makes sense. As we keep on going past the surgery day, we're gonna feel better and better. Still in a lot of pain, but we're doing better incrementally. I recorded the podcast today, podcast number 60. That's going to give my preliminary thoughts about surgery, and that whole story will be on the podcast. Last night I watched so much Nashville. I am so into that show. It's such a good show. I'm gonna be really sad when it's over, so I really do need more show recs that are multiple seasons, drama, good storyline, good character development. The other thing that the surgeon did warn me about that I'm seeing in real time now that we're past surgery is I do not have my appetite back. I don't have my appetite back. In the last 4 days, I've only eaten like 2 real meals, which is kind of wild. I have, even saying that is kind of really crazy because I love eating. Again, hopefully in the next few days we get our normal appetite back so that I can eat 3 normal meals a day like I usually do. I have been drinking a ton of water. I filled this up like 3 times. This is a very big water bottle. It's just 50 fluid ounces. So I've been chugging water like it's my job. I've been icing like it's my job, because it is. And we're gonna get through this. Honestly, it really was boring, right? Because like it was literally 0 to whatever for the entire game.
I'm just waiting for the concerts to
No, seriously. Now they're broken up. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, because he lost. That can't be real. Like, we got way too integrated. The celebrities aren't
No,
famous
seriously.
anymore.
There you go. Look how smooth that is. Thinking about that heel toe, yeah.
All right, we are in our first post-op appointment. He's gonna look at my knee. We're gonna do range of motion. We're probably gonna switch out my bandages on my knee. I'm gonna ask questions. We're gonna look at the photos that they took during surgery.
That's hard to do, right?
Yeah. I did have a question. Like, I actually, when you
We just started, good.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. Yeah, I think when we get this fluid out, it'll feel much better. More pain still under the kneecap,
Yeah.
despite taking care of the meniscus.
Yeah.
The goal is to get you as strong as possible now, to compensate.
Yes.
And our goal is to see if we can get you through the run, the marathon.
Okay.
See you on the 6-week mark what it feels like.
I know you feel it,
Yeah.
but does it feel sharp? All right, so 40 mLs. That's what we took out of you.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I agree with your therapist. You'll probably be good to start getting off the crutches next week.
Okay. Awesome. Just for now, just like leave it. Guess who's back? Back again, back in the exact same spot. We have a lot of good progress that has been made, which is so exciting. Today, I went to my second physical therapy session post-surgery, and my range of motion is coming back. It's coming back in a shorter amount of time than I thought, which is, of course, really, really positive. He definitely challenged me, which is his job. The physical therapist is it's his literal job to challenge me, to push my body to places that I don't think I can go. And here's the thing, it's like a mental game. The entire thing is a mental game, because my brain senses pain and then it fears it, of course. But as he mentioned, there's nothing that we can do in physical therapy that would re-injure something in my knee. So that really helped to give a lot of reassurance. Then right after that, I Ubered from physical therapy to my first post-op appointment. That went really well as well. We went through a lot of range of motion activities, but I think most importantly, they drained my knee, which sounds gross, and it kind of was. There was a lot of fluid and blood stuck in my knee that needed to get out so that I can move it more freely. So that actually helped a lot with my range of motion. After that, I was able to stand up and walk very, very slowly without crutches. So that is a big win. I'm finally feeling mentally and emotionally and physically better. I think tomorrow I am gonna try to not use crutches, even though he did say use one crutch throughout the weekend, see how you feel.
Obviously, it didn't happen. I haven't broken out since high school, and suddenly my neck comes.
That's a blessing.
Because like the Sherpa collar, like it's one of those ones that it
For
has
sure.
getting destroyed. Absolutely.
You could tell yourself that you like that.
No.
What's your secret other than just being a man?
Just being a boy.
A bar of soap.
Like,
Coming from the start, it used to be like 18 steps skincare.
another days I'll use just like a very basic, like Dr. Dennis Rose. He is a doctor, and so he just gets it.
And even since we moved in from, I don't have doctor. We did meet him in Times Square.
Oh my god, that is so funny. 1 second. Hi guys. We are exactly 1 week post surgery. Today is my Valentine's Day party. I'm co-hosting with one of my friends, and there's 13 of us total for the Valentine's Day party. I'm very excited. So I'm in planner mode, and I realize this is how I show love to other people. This is one of the bigger ways I do. I love hosting and I love having people come together, and we have a lot of really cute things we're planning for tonight. I just batch made the cocktail, so I really wanted to stay on theme and make a Valentine's Day drink. Essentially, I just wanted it to be pink, so I made it a strawberry margarita. I just also steamed my pajamas, so this is a pajama party. I'm so excited to see everyone in their silk pajamas, and we had a color theme: red, white, and pink. So I'm actually going to use this for the next activity that I'm prepping for the party. I'm going to make everyone name tags, and I really want to cut out one of these pretty papers for the name tags. You'll see what I mean. One, two, three, four, five, six. Hello you guys. So I did allude to this thing at the beginning of this video. I want to do a full-on Q&A. I'm doing this while I do my makeup because I feel like I need to do something with my hands. We're literally going to start to finish. That's the goal. Hopefully I have enough charge in my battery. This is my 3rd layer primer. I want it to really last, and I really only wear multiple rounds of primer when I want my makeup to last really well. It's not even about the length, it's about how it literally sits on my face. So this is a hydrating primer, but I also put 2 rounds of moisturizer and a serum. Not to be dramatic, but it's time to sit down and have a chat. I don't know, it's probably gonna be a semi-long one, but I really wanted to chat about how I felt during surgery. I have already gotten a lot of messages on social about what happened. This video that you're watching right now, this is going up March 1st, I believe. So this will be almost a month after surgery. There are new people, so I'm saying that in that vein. YouTube gets the information last, and it's because it takes longer to create these videos and a lot more time passes, if that makes sense. Like, that is why YouTube gets the information last. Instagram, TikTok, my podcast, everyone already has known that I got my surgery weeks ago. That has already been public, but YouTube gets it last. You guys get the information last because this video is going up literally almost a month after my surgery. But in the span of time that I've been posting on the other platforms, I have been getting some questions, and I know that I've answered a lot of it in vivid detail on my podcast, which I talk about all the time because it's my baby and I love her. So I already know that I've taken the time. I've taken very intentional time to be very thoughtful about how I explain what happened. But what I plan on doing here for this YouTube video and for the YouTube community is to tell the story, but in a condensed way. If you want the full story and all of the emotions and details and everything, you'll listen to episode 60 of the podcast. That is where I tell the entire story. The podcast was recorded in a moment in time, right? And that moment in time was 4 days after my surgery. So it was my most visceral initial reactions about the surgery and a lot of emotion there. And now I know that I can tell the story without crying, but on the podcast, I could not tell the story without crying because it was still so new and it had just happened. But now I'm filming this one whole week after my surgery. As a lot of you guys know, I am a runner. She's a runner. I really made running my entire personality in 2025, and that's me just joking, but I did run a lot. I proved to myself that I can do anything I want to do, and my 2024 goal was to run a half marathon, and I ended up running 2. Not only that, I ran a handful of 5Ks, I ran 2 10Ks. I definitely became a runner in 2025. However, in the middle of 2025, I got injured, and that happened in June of 2025, and it was a really tough time. There's never a good time to get injured, but the timing that I did get injured really sucked because it was in the middle of my journey to qualify for the New York City Marathon. If you don't know, the New York City Marathon, you can qualify in 4 different ways, but the way that I went about it was to do 9+1, which means you run 9 qualifying races within a calendar year, and then you also have to volunteer at one. So I think it was a week before I got hurt, I actually signed up for all 9 of them. I had done 2 already, or 3, and I signed up for all 9 of them the week before I got hurt. So it really felt like the universe was saying, fuck you. It really wasn't. Yes, of course, at the time I was like, oh, this sucks. I had already paid for all of them. I'm already registered. So I decided to walk half of them. I jogged a few of them, but I did not run any of them to my best because I was injured. All of last year was just really hard for me. I went into a depression. I was spiraling. Everything happened last year. But oh, okay, one second, my friend. She's gonna get ready here, but she's also helping me prep for the party. Life started to look very different after June, and I had to figure out how to cope with what happened, but all the while looking for good insurance, because we know that's a bitch. Looking for good insurance that will cover physical therapy, because physical therapy is very expensive, and also cover a potential surgery. Because I did not know I was gonna get surgery until the beginning of January of this year. Okay, so all last year I was so optimistic and so hopeful that just resting and PT would solve it. And here's the thing, that helped to an extent. It really helped. It helped me be way stronger, but for me to run to the level I used to, that's not gonna go away on its own. Like, I literally had to get surgery. So I decided, let's do this thing. I mean, I was so anxious and so nervous. I'm saying all these caveats for people who don't know this, but I did have a knee surgery on the same exact knee when I was 16, so 15 years ago. And it was definitely a bigger surgery. It was my ACL, so that's literally the biggest you can get in your knee. And my ACL's fine, but my meniscus, I tore my meniscus in 2 different places. So, you know, we just had to get that fixed. After I decided that I was gonna get surgery, then I was very anxious for pretty much the entire January. I thought, well, you know, I realized that surgery is a big deal, and I wanted to try to be as calm as possible. But as the weeks were going on, I just naturally got a lot more anxious, a lot more nervous, and then the day of surgery, it's interesting because, one, I had to wake up so early. I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. I took a shower. They told me that I couldn't shower for 2 days, so I woke up really early, took a shower, got to the hospital, and there's a lot of pre-stuff that they do before you actually go under. And then after you wake up, you're there for almost another 2 hours because the anesthesia has to wear off before you leave the hospital, because I mean, that's a liability, of course. And then also you do have to have someone pick you up from the hospital, which I feel like I definitely knew that, like when I was 16, like, of course, I mean, I was a minor, so of course my parents literally picked me up, but I guess just having this experience as an adult just felt very different and a little uncomfortable because I'm just so used to doing everything on my own, and like when you physically cannot, it just felt very uncomfortable. But it's just been great to like have people here who's been so helpful and has really just made this time and this, I guess, era of me injured not so shitty. The first like 48 hours I was down bad and very sad and very immobile and just felt like I couldn't do anything, but I always forget about the fact that like rest does so much. 1 full week after, and you know, I'm able to walk, not going very far, very fast, but I'm able to walk pretty much without crutches at this point. It's a journey that's not linear. I feel fine and happy at times, but I'm also gonna like just cry randomly, and I'm also just gonna feel like, okay, the world feels too big right now, and like I feel like very just overwhelmed. It's okay. It's okay, because there are things that I know that I can do in the interim. Honestly, just want to be thankful for the fact that it could have been a lot worse. I also wanted to cover from this video on, I think it's important for me to be very transparent with you guys and say that there are a lot of times where I feel like some people on the receiving end, they don't understand the gravity of the situation. And I don't expect people to understand fully, but I think this comes down to making sure that people are commenting with grace and commenting with a level of critical thinking, because I think there are times where people can view somebody who they don't personally know and they're kind of a little harsh, or they don't really stop to think, okay, well, she's an actual person. Like, she isn't just like a talking head, and she isn't just somebody who's like in a video. Like, she's a real person, real feelings, real life. There are going to be, maybe in some videos, I'm just like not the happiest girl in the world, and I don't want to feel like I have to act like I am when I'm not. I'm positive in my real life too, like, or in my day-to-day life with like the people who I'm around, but there are times where I am sad. I just want to make that clear that this journey maybe feel a little off, but like, you have to keep in mind, I just got surgery. I think the last part of this conversation I also want to say is I fully understand. One, I've been a creator for now so long that, you know, sometimes I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. But here's the thing, a lot of people, I really do believe that a lot of people don't understand that even though it's the internet and like everyone is entitled to their own opinion, of course, that will always be true, but be cognizant about what we say. I told you guys a very high level detailing of the injury and the surgery. However, the only people who know my chart and the only people who literally know my x-rays, know my MRI, know what is literally happening in my knee is my doctor and my surgeon and my PT guy. No one else actually knows. So, and you know what? Me included. Like, there were things that I was like, I can't even like explain this terminology if my life depended on it, because I'm not a surgeon. Like, I don't know. So I think a lot of people do mean well, but I also think it's important for me to say that only my medical team actually knows what's going on. Even if you think you know something, it doesn't directly apply to me. That's what you went through, right? I thought this was important to share. I'm gonna come back when I'm pretty much done, because I need to actually charge my camera. Here is the final look. Here's how everything came together. Oh my god, I think it's so cute. So pretty. Love it. You were at the ridiculous.
He was just happy to pull it off.
Please explain.
It's hospital or something. Will you actually do it? And I like, what's that? I should try.
There's this other.
Where's the light?
You want us for some martini?
No.
Yeah.
So simple, more basic.
Because we can like do that.
And he said, "You're so funny." I said, "Yeah."
Everyone looked at the center and laughed. No.
Oh my god! Let us get into Iron Flame. I just finished it. Well, actually, I realized that I haven't talked to you guys in a few days. Since Valentine's. Today is the 16th. We haven't chatted since the 13th, so let's actually wrap that up. It was an amazing event, and I was really proud that I brought together all the people who I feel really good about here in New York City. Yesterday was our first day without crutches, and I'm very happy about that because it just shows that I'm progressing. It shows that I'm obviously healing, as I knew I would, but when you're in it, you don't know when the end is going to be and when you can see the light. A bike exercise literally every single day, and some stretches and some strength, really, really light strengthening. Graduate to doing harder and harder things. You can't determine that on your own. It's their decision. That is, I guess, the leg update. And now we can actually talk about Iron Flame. So this is the second book in the Fourth Wing series. This is a really, really big book. 623 pages. I just finished it. This took me 2 full weeks to finish, but I also want to say I did not read for over a week because of surgery and the recovery, and I was just really anxious and I just needed to disassociate from everything. So I think it's really important to actually say that, because this is a real account of knowing that reading is very subjective, but also the amount you read is based on your mood, of course, right? Like we hear about mood reading all the time, and yeah, you should never force yourself to read, of course. So with that being said, I did not force myself to read. I had surgery. I was going through something really big, and I just decided to disassociate from everything and just not think about it, and that's okay. Yesterday I read 250 pages, which is, I think that's one of the most I've read in one sitting. I really got so much done yesterday. It's a series for a reason, so there are key things that of course are in this book that you wouldn't know unless you read book 1, right? So I'm always a little wary with how I explain and how I describe things after the first book. But what I will say is, first off, the world building was very, very strong. Very, very strong world building in this series so far, book 1 and this one. I liked that this book really, really, really focused on the love story between Xaden and Violet, the 2 main characters. And I mentioned this was a while ago now at this point. I read Fourth Wing, which is book 1, in October, and we're in February. So I read it, 4 months ago, and I couldn't shut up about Violet. Violet is my girl, and we are so locked in. We are the same person. She just has so many beautiful traits that makes me really proud that a female main character is so strong and believes in herself and fights for love and justice, and so smart and witty and powerful. I will say that I do not think that the book needed to be 623 pages. I understand a lot of world building happened, which was really fun to be in, but there were pockets of the book that I just thought, all right, this didn't seem super necessary. But again, as I've always said, reading is so subjective. Someone might feel completely opposite. That's okay. It could have been condensed. The high points and the highlights of the book did stand out when they came. The relationship between Dane and Violet. So Dane was Violet's best friend. They grew up together, but throughout everything that they've been dealing with, and also Violet is a second year. Is Dane a third year? I feel like Dane is a year above Violet. They've gone through a lot, and there's been a lot of pain between them, but they don't want to give it away, but they really unpacked a lot in this book. This is a fantasy. Fourth Wing was my very first fantasy book. This is my first real look into fantasy beyond Fourth Wing. I like the mystical nature of this. I really do. I think it's very interesting because it's very different from what I had ever read really in my life. But with that said, this book specifically really focused on the love story between Xaden and Violet. And you know, I am a sucker for a romance. Romance is my favorite genre, so I was finding myself very happy with hearing about how they've really grown with each other. Also, technically, I guess they're sex scenes, but the sex scenes were, yeah, they were good, and there were a few of them. What was the other thing? Okay, see, there's something I want to say, but I actually cannot say that because it would completely ruin a very big part. So I'm a little limited with what I can say, but what I will say is that the Sorrengail family as a whole, we really, really get into that, and we really unpack a lot of things about the family as a whole. The ending was pretty shocking. I didn't see the last chapter coming at all. It was a very shocking end. Just like in book one, the ending of book one, this big fight scene in the book, and that made me cry. Just a lot of great quotes throughout the book. I also think this is very important to say. A lot of people have been talking about how this series isn't amazing. There are a lot of people who say that, and there's a lot of people who like it, of course, but I actually do think that book talk is ruining the perception of reading. I've said this in so many videos, reading is subjective and no one should be shaming anyone for what they're reading. Come on, like, these books are great for anybody who wants to get into reading, but even if you're well into reading, I don't want to just say, oh, they're like intro beginner books, because that's not true. But reading has such a lifespan, right? Like, we all can try out as many books as we want and see what we like and see what we don't like, but also, me personally, I feel like I'm still in my beginning stages of reading. I read all year last year, but last year was literally the first year ever that I consistently read in my entire life. Okay, so I am letting myself read whatever is calling to me, but also, yeah, I'm curious about what the general public is reading and what people are highly praising, and there's nothing wrong with that. I do not want any slander, at least on this page, about people and what they're reading. Let people read what they want to read. You can also read what you want to read, but don't try to tell someone that they shouldn't be reading something, or blank book is not a developed read, or it's not a good book. Reading is subjective. You can have your opinion, but don't make someone else feel bad about that. But I also did say this, I think in a few vlogs back, that as a reader this year, I'm really happy that I've touched so many different genres, and I really want to be more critical with how I rate books. And again, ratings are subjective as well. So with that said, I'm gonna rate this book a 4-star. Fourth Wing, still a 5-star in my head, and I really, really enjoyed reading it. This one is a great book, but I don't want to say that it doesn't hold a candle to Fourth Wing, but I enjoyed Fourth Wing actually way more than this one. And now I'm actually going to jump right into our next book of February. I'm filming this on February 16th, and I think I told you guys this, but my goal is to read 50 books in 2026, which we absolutely will do, but that requires me to read at least 4 books a month to be on track. February 16th, we finished 1 out of 4 books. I still have 3 more books to read by February 28th. Okay, so I literally have 10 books. No, oh my God, what the fuck? Oh my God, no, 12? Oh my God. I have 12 days to read 3 books. And I know I can do that because I've shown you guys in a past video that I read 3 books in a week. So I know I can do it. It's not about that. I can read 3 books in a week, so we're gonna do it. But this is our second book of February, which is The Winners by Frederick Bachman. I am excited to wrap up this series. This is book 3 of the Beartown series. All right, so we read Beartown, we read Us Against You. Now it is time to finish this series and read The Winners. I ordered Wendy's like 3 days ago and they got my order wrong. So I got to keep the order that I was given, and they also refunded me because they messed up, and they sent me chili and it's actually pretty good, I have to say. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm so mad. I'm so mad. I'm pissed. No. Wow. No. We just finished The Winners by Frederick Bachman. This is book 3 in the Beartown series. You guys, I read this in 3 days. And it's a 670 page book, and I read it in 3 days. This is one of the most fast-paced books I have ever read. I was pretty engaged the entire time. However, I think there were parts that I was personally upset with. Okay, New York needs to shut up, and I don't want to use my mic. It's over there. It's like a whole thing to set it up. There were a few things that I was upset about in terms of not feeling fulfilled with how the author wrapped up the story. The character development of Maya was really beautiful because I really enjoyed how she essentially came full circle and came out on the other side in a really strong way at the end. Benji, he's been one of my favorite characters within this series. I am heartbroken throughout his character, especially in this book. That's all I'll say. We were introduced to like 4 new characters. The dad was a firefighter, the mom was a midwife, they had a daughter named Tess, and then we have Mateo, who is a brand new character in this book, but how the storyline of him develops in this book, it completely wraps into how the beginning of this whole series started with Beartown, with Maya, with Kevin. Kevin really wasn't in the book at all because we hate him for reasons that if you read Beartown, you already know why, and I'm so upset with him, and I always will be. So I'm glad that he wasn't really in this book, but he does come back around. And again, it's to really close out Maya's story and for her to honestly get her closure, which makes me really happy. And then we're also introduced to a few more male characters that were not great. They weren't great people, and this book really highlights why, and they are definitely involved with Mateo's story and why Mateo is even relevant in this book. The end was pretty sad. I wish that there was more of them playing hockey, like truly Head versus Beartown. I wanted to feel that camaraderie on the ice, literally on the ice. I will say we did feel the camaraderie very strongly throughout the pages, even though it wasn't centered around literally them playing hockey. And I did say this with the breakdown and analysis of book 2, where you really don't have to know anything about hockey to really love and understand and latch on to the characters of this book. Also, the Bearskin is the bar pub that is the staple of the town. Is called Beartown, and I really enjoyed how they talked about the bar and how that was a place for them all to come together, especially after a moment that happens at the beginning of this book that was also very sad, and why everyone came together. Essentially, the Bearskin acts as a safe haven for everybody for various reasons. Honestly, Anna, Maya, Benji, Bobo, Amit, everyone's stories were really beautifully written. I do really like his writing style because it makes you think. It is very powerful how he strings the words together, which for me makes it a very compelling story. It is very, very long. I don't think that it should be this long. I think it could have gotten away with maybe being 500 pages. This is 670 pages. Granted, the margins are kind of on the bigger side, so maybe that's part of it. Also, I understand paperbacks are bigger than hardcover books for the most part. I'm trying to keep that in mind, but still, 670 is pretty lengthy. I understand this is the last book of the series, so they needed more pages and chapters to wrap it up. But again, I did say at the beginning, this did fly by. I read this in 3 days, literally 3 days. But I am sad. See, here's the thing. I took the storyline a little personally, and I'm a little sad. I just wish that the ending was a little happier, honestly. It makes you really reflect on all 3 books. You root for all the main characters, all the good main characters. You root for them so much in this book, which I absolutely did, but I can't lie. I was pretty sad with the ending. I kind of, in my head, I always want it to be a happy ending, but I don't think that's Frederick Bachman's style. I think Frederick Bachman likes a dramatic and heart-wrenching story, and this really was pretty sad. I'm not even gonna lie. The other thing is with Peter. Okay, oh yeah, Peter and Kira are Maya and Leo's parents. I really loved Kira in the very first book, Beartown. We didn't get a lot of her in the second book. Well, she always spoke up, but I think this book, she shines a lot more. In terms of Peter, I thought that we would get more from him as in character development. So that's something that kind of felt like a letdown. And that's important to say because Peter was such a important character at the beginning. He took the Beartown hockey team under his wing at the beginning, and that was his whole purpose, and he was very adamant on making that team a winning team and taking them globally, essentially. And just to hear how his storyline ended at the end of this book, it just felt a little underwhelming. I really did think that there would be more from Peter, so I think that's another part of the story that's making me feel like, I wish that it was rounded out a little better. There were really beautiful passages in this book. It made me smile, made me tear up. And before I give the rating, I do want to preface that this book is in a series of 3 books. This is the last book in a series of 3. I want to be a lot more critical with how I rate, which I have said before, but also I have to rate this against the other 2 books. So with that said, I am rating this book a 4-star. I rated Beartown 4.9. Honestly, it's pretty much a 5-star. I rated Us Against You a 4 as well. So I am giving this book a 4-star as well. So book 2 and 3, I'm giving a 4-star. And for all the reasons I just said, and also I think that the first book was such a standout, which led me to even read these next 2 books in the series. But I think that in terms of the length of the book, in terms of how the entire story wrapped up, it was a great story, but there were parts that I personally wish were different. I think that Frederick Bachman has such a talent with how he creates storylines. We have also finished book 2 of February. So we have 2 more books to read before February wraps. I'm gonna pick it up at the library tomorrow, but the next book of February is The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest. I'm excited to read this for a few reasons. One, because currently it is still February, still Black History Month. I realized that I never even said that in the other 2 videos so far this month. So happy Black History Month. This is written by a Black author and it is a Black love story. So it's perfect for this month. So I'm actually buddy reading this book with one of my friends. She sent me 3 different books. She just had me pick one. And so we picked The Love Lyric, and I'm excited to buddy read this with her, along with obviously sharing my thoughts with you guys about the book once I finish it. In terms of my knee, I'm 12 days post surgery, and he told me that I'm healing very well. I'll see you guys later. I got invited to this event called Product of the Year Awards, so it seems pretty official. Cheers. Not get to say this when I was at home, but we're at the new Product of the Year Awards. Apparently they have this every year. Some of the SNL cast will be here soon. We're having dinner. This is such a vibe. This is at the Tribeca rooftop. Never been here. Love it. I'm in the bathroom. That's why I'm talking so low and so fast. All right. And this is the look.
true, totally. We're gonna do a group photo.
Hello, you guys. It is exactly 2 weeks after my surgery. Today is the 20th. Had surgery on February 6th. We have some updates. Right now I am icing because I just got back from physical therapy. There is still so much pain in my knee, and he was explaining your knee went through an entire process, so it really does take a lot of time for the internal muscles, scar tissue to heal, which is causing the pain. But he wants to push me to get my full range of motion back as soon as possible. As you guys saw in the clip right before this, your girl is officially running the New York City Marathon. I know I said this on the very first vlog of this year that it was happening. I already knew that it was going to happen, but I officially registered. I'm so excited. It is happening November 1st. Mark your calendars. Of course, as the year goes on, we will be talking a lot about running. Okay, so I'm not even gonna spend too much time talking about it right now because we're still in February, and the sooner I'm cleared to run, then we can start training. Probably the biggest goal of 2026 for me is to become a marathoner. Your girl will run the New York City Marathon, and I'm so damn excited. I realize that this vlog has been going on for so long, essentially for 2 weeks now. So you have one more week with me in this vlog. Of course, you guys will get a condensed version, but I will show you the highlights. The rest of the vlog from now on will really focus on our reading. So, as I mentioned, our third book of February is The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest. I just picked this up at the library. Honestly, I can get through this if I just really lock in and focus. So I'm giving myself about 2 days to finish this, and then we're gonna read our fourth book, which we'll save that conversation for later. I think I'm ready to venture out. So we're gonna go work at the Arlo. It's a hotel, but they have a workspace that's open to the public. I'm so ready for spring. I feel like we're all so ready for spring. I feel like by the beginning of March, we will have spring-ish weather. Crossing fingers that we're in 50s and above, but that's a little wishful thinking. Let's start our work day.
I know that makes sense. It sounded good to me when I was young.
The vibes are vibing in the West Village. Very intentional. I'm crying. Aw. This is actually so good. I just finished The Love Lyric by Christina Forrest. I read this in less than 2 days. I literally started this yesterday. I read for about 3 hours yesterday, and then I read for about 3 hours today. I would say I pretty much chopped it in half. Very, very quick read, very, very fast pace. Oh my God, I teared up at the end. This book felt like a slow burn. So first off, this is obviously a romance, and it follows, oh my God, I'm still like emotionally charged from it. It follows Angel and Iris. Angel is a famous R&B singer, and Iris is the director of partnerships at a skincare company named Save Face Beauty. This book packed a lot into it. There were a lot of very personal aspects of it for me. And as I've mentioned so many times before, reading is so subjective. So when you as the reader can see yourself in the story, it just makes it a more powerful read. And I didn't really want to put this down. I did 2 very long reading sprints, and within those, seriously, 2 reading sprints, I finished this book. On to the personal touches. Angel went on tour to a few different cities, but Seattle was the first city that they toured, and I grew up in Seattle, so that was really fun to read about. They also had a Ferris wheel scene, which was really special because I love Ferris wheels and I've been to so many. They also talked about their age difference. She's 32, he's 29. The book is set in New York City, mainly based in New York City. So they were talking about a lot of New York City specific places. They talked about West 4th Street. They talked about Chelsea, and I loved it. I loved it because I literally live here and it just felt so applicable to me. They also talk about family dynamics and the importance of having boundaries around your family and not feeling disrespected around them. So that really hit home. They also talk about therapy, also hits home. And the love story really felt like a slow burn between our 2 main characters. I am very much like Iris, who is very organized and tries to stick to a plan, but a lot of life cannot be planned, and this book really unravels that in a really beautiful way. I was laughing, I was getting teared up. There were a lot of very emotional parts of the book, but there were a lot of very fun, humorous parts of the book. There were a few parts that were a little cheesy, but I still really enjoyed how the author set up the storyline. It was very well depicted in terms of how vivid everything was. And yes, I feel like I can see it a little more vividly because I live in New York, but I've also been to a lot of places that were set in the book. So I kind of saw it in a deeper lens, but I really enjoyed it. I also loved how songwriting was very present in this book and how that also increases the bond between the 2 main characters. I also tabbed, as you can see, can you see that? I also tabbed a few parts of the book that really stood out to me. So I'm gonna read, I think I'm just gonna read this one. Who takes care of you? He asked. Iris paused. What? When you're upset, who takes care of you? I get the sense that you're used to taking care of everything for everyone else. Your daughter, of course, and Violet told me that you're like a second mom to her and Lily, and I see how you handle things at work. I know you said you're in therapy, but outside of that, who takes care of you when you need it? We love an emotionally intelligent man who really sees the girl and makes her feel protected and loved in a really beautiful way. I really, really enjoyed how the author set up their love story. Oh, also, Iris is a mother. I won't go too much into that just for the sake of the story because I think that also really plays a big part in their storyline and how they actually get together. And it said at the beginning that it is a happily ever after. So as the reader, you already know that you're gonna get a happy ever after. But the way that their love story actually develops, there were some things I didn't see coming, but there were also some things that were, of course, a little predictable, but I don't think that takes away from the power of the story. I actually really, really enjoyed it. Bearing the lead, this book also has a few sex scenes in it, and I liked them. I liked that they weren't so overtly in your face. They came at the perfect times, and it also just helped to emotionally connect with the 2 main characters, because sometimes you just don't know with a book if they're gonna go there, right? You don't know, but this author went there with these two characters and those scenes were properly placed. You guys know I love a romance. I'm biased because romance is my favorite genre, but as I've mentioned, this year I'm really trying to be a lot more critical about how I rate books, but I will say this did stand out to me for all the reasons I just said. So with that in mind, I am giving this book a 4.5 star. I really enjoyed it. I would read this again next year. It made me feel very warm inside. This is the type of book that will really make you feel something if you're an emotional person and really love romance. I think that it was beautifully done, and now I'm really curious about Christina Forrest, and I'm looking forward to seeing the other books that she has written, but I'm very happy that I read this, and now we are officially done with our third book of February. And now it is time to start book 4 of February, which is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. Today is February 22nd, so I have 6 days to finish this book. Really into reading right now. I have just been focused on reading. I feel like I'm ready for this reading sprint. I literally read Iron Flame, The Winners, The Love Lyric, back to back to back, no break. So let's just lock in and finish this.
Update will take you with the process, you know.
Perfect. Good job.
Oh, we'll melt it and then we'll...
Okay.
Thank you guys. Thank you.
Right now in New York City, we are experiencing another storm, which I cannot believe. It's barely a month after the first one. All my appointments today got canceled. I did not step outside today. I was inside all day and got a lot of work done and watched more Tell Me Lies, and now I'm reading. We are gonna finish this book. We're definitely finishing it in the next, honestly, in the next like 2 days. What? What? Wait. I feel confused slightly, but it took me a second just to grab all my thoughts and sit to record this. We just finished Onyx Storm. This is book 3 of the Fourth Wing series. I have so many emotions swirling in my head. Oh my god, I don't even know where to start. All right, so I think for the purposes of explaining, I do have to say some things that might be giveaways. Just gonna say that right off top. But this book immediately starts from where book 2 left off with the Battle of Dreyfus. And during that battle, Xaden unfortunately went through a Venin transformation, which Venin is essentially dark magic, which is bad. We don't want that. The entire book takes us through his progression through the Venin, and the entire point was for Xaden not to fully convert to the dark magic, because if he converts, then he's essentially gone. And him and Violet, as we know from book 1, they are bonded through their dragons, their signets. If Xaden's gone, then Violet's gone, and vice versa. It really lends to how powerful they are together, of course. And then also, I think it lends to a stronger love story because they also are deeply in love with each other. But in terms of the war side, aside from the romantic love side, this book really dives deep into the world building and fighting off the venom and the griffins. I would say out of all 3 books so far, this one definitely had the most technical terms, the most jargon, which I have to say it lost me a little bit, just a little bit. But this book in specific was definitely more focused on world building. This book is long. It's 528 pages. Given that this book was primarily focused on the world building and the war and the battles, it definitely was more of that than the love story. And I remember telling you guys that book 2, I think, was a really healthy balance of the love story and the war that they were fighting. So the fact that this one was definitely heavier on the world building, less of the love story. As a reader, I'm learning that I really enjoy more of the healthy balance. So I would say that I enjoyed book 2 more than this one. And the cliffhanger at the end of this book was literally insane. I was a little confused, so I had to literally go back and read the last 2 chapters again just to understand. And even after that, I had to just sit and think, okay, we heard from Xaden's POV, as we have done in all 3 books. I like that the last chapter is usually Xaden's POV and he shares his side of things, which lends a lot of helpful information to the entire storyline. But with this specific book, Xaden's last chapter was very ominous. He didn't say a lot. And also at the very end of the book, we do hear from Violet. Of course, she is the main character and the story is told from her POV, which I enjoy. But there was something that happened at the very end, which was the cliffhanger that I did not see coming. And I'm trying to really piece together how that will lead into the next book, because of course, this book ended on a cliffhanger, so you know that there is going to be another book. That is very, very clear. But I guess it just leaves the readers in a weird limbo. Right after reading this, I just felt very stunned and wanted answers. That's where I'm at right now. I just want answers to why what happened at the end happened, and to piece together what exactly happened after Xaden's chapter to the very final chapter of this book, which is Violet's. Wow. There was a lot going on, lots of character development from the other non-main characters, because of course Violet and Xaden are the main characters of the book, but we also have Brennan and Mira and Imogen and Brody and Garrick and Rhiannon. We have so many points of view and they all lend a hand to the story. But wrapping this up so that it's not super long, I like to think of books in a series, how they stand against each other. So with that said, I am giving Onyx Storm a 3.75. I gave Fourth Wing a 5-star. I gave Iron Flame a 4. And I'm giving this one a 3.75 because, as I mentioned, I did enjoy Iron Flame a little bit more than this one. And I think the fact that it left me in such a confused state at the end, knowing that it's going to be explained further, but just leaving it as how it did in a standalone book, I think it is fair for me to be a little more critical and to rate it a little lower than the second book. It's not to say that I didn't like it, but I'm also contemplating if I do want to finish the series. I know that the 4th book is not out yet, so I can't just go read it immediately, but maybe I'll feel differently in time. Maybe I will, but I feel like if the 4th book was already available, I would need some time. I would put this down for a bit and just pivot over to new genres and new authors and new things, and then maybe circle back to this later. But I understand the cult viral energy around this series. It is very encapsulating. Whenever I open the book, I feel like I am really diving into the world of the characters, of the world building. It's fun, but I think I do want to pivot and read more fantasy. I'm interested in fantasy, but I think that I want to step out of this world and just see how other fantasies are written. And I do have actually a few fantasies behind me that we're gonna read together this year. So I'm looking forward to that, but that's all I'll say for Onyx Storm. And with that, we have officially read 4 books in February. I'm really, really proud of that. What day is it today? I finished my reading goal for the month with 3 days to spare, and I'm really proud of that. I really, really did a intense reading sprint in the last 2 weeks, and I'm happy that it paid off. And now we have officially read 9 books so far in 2026, 9 out of 50. We got this. We are definitely going to hit this goal. It is very important to me to hit this reading goal, and we are absolutely going to do that. And you guys will see every single book I read, or I will talk about them in some way, shape, or form on the vlogs. All right, you guys, and that is where I will leave you for this vlog. We covered a lot. You guys, again, will see this on March 1st. So it will be about a month after surgery. I think it's also important to give a little bit of a leg update, a post-surgery update. So at this point, we are about 3 weeks post-surgery, and I'm feeling so much better. I'm able to take the subway. I'm able to go up and down stairs pretty easily. And my physical therapist is definitely increasing the intensity of what we do in physical therapy. Of course, that is his job, to see how I'm doing each week and each session and add on as needed. So he's doing everything he needs to do. I'm trying my best to push through the pain, because as I'm sitting here right now, I'm still in a good amount of pain when I'm actually doing the workouts, not really with everyday stuff. Like right now, I'm not in pain just sitting down, but when I'm doing the workouts that he's telling me to do, I am definitely in pain, but he said pain is part of the process, and I will be in pain for a while. And a while can look like, of course, different things to different people, but he said with a surgery like mine, most patients are still feeling some degree of pain 2+ months after surgery. So mentally, I have to just remember that and continue to just work on all the things that he tells me to do, because that's the only way that I'm actually going to heal and be ready to, of course, get back into running again. That is the biggest goal. We're running the New York City Marathon, as you guys already know, and we will of course talk about that more in a few months once I'm actually cleared to run. But these are the points in time where I really need to lock in, which I have been doing, and focus on my healing and recovery. Mentally and emotionally, I feel a lot better. Looking back on the clips that I took immediately after surgery, I was in a really hard mental state. I always try to remember that everything that we feel is temporary. I'm really happy that I pulled myself out of a negative place, and as I mentioned as well, there will be days where I'm feeling great, and there will be also days that I'm frustrated and physically in pain, and I need to take each of those as they come and remember that I am doing everything in my power to heal and get better. I have a good support system. I have my doctor, I have my physical therapist, I have the people around me to help me, push me, challenge me, and see to it that I fully recover 100%. And so I'm really thankful for that. And thank you guys, of course, for watching my videos and rooting me on from wherever you are. It means a lot to me. And as always, I will continue to show up every single week, even in the states I'm in. I really want to always remember that this is a space that makes me really happy, and regardless of what I'm dealing with, I want to show up as I am. So whatever that stage is, I want to continue to show up. Thank you guys so much for watching this very, very long video, essentially an entire month in New York City. and what my life looks like post surgery. Remember to subscribe if you're new here. Also remember to thumbs up this video if you enjoyed it, as I hope you did. Happy March. Listen to my podcast Misunderstood. It comes out every single Monday. We have video episodes on Spotify as well as YouTube. And I will see you guys next week.